You have a situation here where you have more geese than some people are willing to tolerate. We call it cultural carrying capacity. You have more birds than society is willing to accept in a certain area. And by taking a drastic measure such as euthanasia, you reduce the problem immediately. And then as soon as you get the numbers down, if you start doing some of the other things that you guys have been doing, which is destroying nests, hazing birds, not attracting them by feeding them, you can keep the problem manageable.
When I came back from Afghanistan, me and the veterans organizations took charge of creating new monuments, beautifying the boulevard, and up until this very day. And my issue is that 1 mile is absolutely beautiful, probably the most beautiful in the state, in my opinion. Also, the flora and fauna, geese, flowers, plants, all of it. But there comes a time when too much is too much.
I've been reading a lot about, in Canada, which I guess they would know a lot more than we do, perhaps, about the Canadian geese. And they have pretty much agreed that the tall grasses have the longest effect, the long-term effect of keeping them away because it destroys the sightline for the geese. Without their sightline, they are in total danger. They are aware of this. So they stay away from areas where they don't have a clear sightline to the water. Because if they don't have this sightline, they cannot protect themselves from the predators. And supposedly this has been, for them, their most effective method.
Bristol Veterans Council approaches it from 3 angles. Number 1, the geese are a health hazard. Geese droppings contain many bad organisms. Just to mention a few: E. coli, Salmonella, Giardia. When those geese droppings dry and people and animals steps on them, they become airborne.
I've begun looking into the various humane methods for controlling a Canada goose population and their excrement. And I appreciate that the Parks Department has tried some of those methods in the past and found that they didn't solve the problem. And from what I've been reading, I'm not surprised. This is no easy undertaking. So one suggestion I have is that we as a community create a task force focused on designing a comprehensive humane mitigation plan.
The health risks are real, they're there for everyone to see. And I know this ain't an easy solution, and this is not a subject that people want to talk about. But it is our responsibility as citizens of Bristol to do the humane thing here, the thing for everyone, all the citizens, whether you agree with this or don't agree with this, is the health of our citizens should always come first. The last thing I want to see is an elderly person or a young child or anybody get sick from the contaminants that are on the ground.
I don't know how expensive a swan is, but if you get a couple of swans that are mating together, they're going to be there for life. And those swans will scare the life out of those geese. Also, there was a young man here promoting the dog park. And there was also a young lady who promoted a community coalition. So everybody here, somebody who volunteer 1 hour a month. And if they don't adhere to that, donate $20 for their day, for their time, because they can't. I would. When I'm there, I wouldn't mind walking around and with a rake.
But that's the issue. It's public safety or animal cruelty. That's what we're talking about here. What takes a higher priority, the public safety or animals? Okay? That's, to me, that is an absolute no-brainer. And asking a question like how many people have gone to the hospital, that is just ludicrous. I'm sorry, it's ludicrous. It has tunnel vision, you're not looking at the big picture. I would hope that this commission would not be swayed by the noise and get down to the meat of the matter.
About 3 years ago, I found something that was called Flight Control Max, Stop the Drop. And what this is you spray it on the lawn, and the only way for it to go away is if you mow your lawn. When it grows, it mows it away. But geese are lazy. They'll come from the water, and they won't walk across the red grass to go to the green grass.
If we choose to do nothing, what's the cost to the city then? Is there a liability factor involved? if we do nothing and someone gets sick, a dog gets sick, or, you know, God forbid, a child's instead, can the city be sued?
So my husband is a veteran. He was in the Army for 21 years. We walk on the boulevard several times a week. We navigate our way around the goose droppings. And when we go home, we take off our shoes the same way that we do when we walk around our neighborhood and have to navigate around the dog poop that people don't pick up. Yet I don't hear anyone calling to euthanize dogs.
So instead of wasting money gassing the birds, I have an idea. That would actually supply our schools, especially Edgewood, 5 Moxie robots. Are you familiar with Moxie robots, Mr. Mayor?
Moby is the home in Bristol here.
Yeah. So we could actually give Edgewood 5 Moxie robots for our kids with special needs. Just use common sense. Don't do this.
And that's why we're having this discussion today. That's why we're here talking about this. And we will make a decision, and whether we're for it or against it, that it's the end, at least we did what was best for the citizens of Bristol.